Hey, good morning. I'm live. I like that it gives you a big sign. Hey, you're live. In case you're sitting here picking your nose or something. Let me know if the sound is okay. I'm sitting outside and I didn't want to wear my headset. And I think it's cool that you can schedule this and, let people know when you're going live. So anyway, 9:30 Eastern Time Wednesdays is when I'm aiming for. I'll let you know if that changes. And so the business stuff is I have human design readings, of course, available. We'll be talking a little bit about that today. And I have a human design basics for business coming up June 4th. And it's 4 weeks and it's live coaching and live calls. I'm not a huge fan of pre-recorded content because every group has a different energy to it. So it's a beta group, so I'm only charging $159 for it. You're going to get your chart. You're going to get your chart read in a group, and we're going to talk about how you use your strategy and your authority in your marketing, in your sales, in your presentation, in your website, all those things, which for me is changing everything. Good morning. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you today about future writing and scripting and pray rain journaling. And then I'm working with Sandy in Sandy Amorim. Damn it. Sandy, I promise I'm going to get your last name right. It's not really a hard last name either. I don't know what my problem is. But I'm in her Created Life Academy, and we're doing a what she's calling a playbook. And I won't give the details here because I didn't ask her permission if I could share it. But basically, future writing and scripting and things like that everybody has their own little spin on it. So I took a class from McKenna Held and Catherine Just, and they have a Facebook group now. You can probably just go on Facebook and put future writing in it and find the one with McKenna and Catherine. Super good class. And then Abraham Hicks has talked about scripting for a long time. So it's another thing. There's nothing new under the sun. And we just all are putting our own, interpretations on things. Everybody's a little bit different, like I said. The basic concept is you're writing today what you want to be your future. By the way, science fiction writer Octavia Butler, after she died, good morning, storming there. Oh, Michelle Shoemaker, get your beauty counter from Michelle. Uh, if they're storming in her area, could be storming here in North Georgia pretty soon. Anyway, the basic deal is, okay, so Octavia Butler, sci-fi writer, African American woman. After she died, they found all her writings, which was future writing. She was writing as if she already had the things that she did eventually have. Bottom line, basic concept, you're writing, you don't date the page, you do your best to make it as real as possible, as if you really are sitting in Paris at your favorite cafe, writing, updating your journal, or wherever you would love to be, on the beach, uh, wherever. You get the idea, right? You don't date the pages because that, can screw you up if you get to that date and you don't have the trip to Paris. And you're just it's like court art feeling work. It's like finding the feeling tone, only more so because we know that when you handwrite, you activate different parts of your brain. You pull together different systems that make things more real. I've been doing it since sometime last year, as I took that class from McKenna Held and Catherine Just. And I don't do it on a regular basis. But what happened for me right away is awarenesses of what was in my way of living that scenario, that vignette, that slice of life. awarenesses started coming really fast, and still are, by the way. So we started one in the Creative Life Academy, and I'm using, and it's for the whole rest of the year. And it needs to be, a thick book, and that's what I'm using. For my journal nerds, this is a Hipponoto Mini A5, 68 grams, Tomoe River paper, which you can find on hipponoto.com. Has a cutest little pocket in the back. Oh, I gotta hold it up higher. But I wouldn't recommend this size if you have a lot of traveler's notebooks in the A5 size, because it's too short this way to really fit in those. And there really isn't a cover out there that fits this. So I recommend against it. But since I had it, I'm going to use it because I love the paper. And you have a special pen. And you only use your future journal, your Sandy calls it a playbook, and your special pen, and that's it. It is a big notebook. It's 400 and something pages back, and they count it front and back. So over, well over 200 pages in there. But it's lovely paper. Lovely. Tomoe River paper is the best paper out there. Thank you, Japan. Okay, so, that got me a little concerned. So I'm thinking about future writing and how I really got a deeper level of it when Sandy was talking about it. Like, wow, okay, we really are choosing from the soup what we want to experience in a really powerful way. We're using our word, we're using our ability to write detail. Your mind doesn't know the difference between present time and future time. So as you're writing, you start to feel. I've even gotten so vivid with it, I could smell Paris. Every city has a particular smell. I could smell Paris. It just became very sensate focused, which put me in that state of being there. Right? That's what we want. We want to feel it. That's what Joe Dispenza says. That's what everybody says. That's what I say. It's true. The more you can feel it now, the more real it becomes. And you just go until you feel good about it, or until your mind is running with the yeah buts. Then you stop there because you don't want to ruin it. You don't want your mind to get involved and ruin the whole thing that you just did. And you just let it go. Okay? And then you just do it when you feel motivated to. Okay, so thinking in that and that amount of power and what you're doing with your journal, then it made me a little concerned. Like, is that the reason why those of us who are journalers, have journals that basically say the same thing decade after decade? I hate even saying that word, decade after decade. I can go back in my journals and I'm writing about different faces and places, but the same theme. Feeling sorry for myself, feeling like I can't figure it out, feeling like I'm never going to get what I want, which I did stop myself from doing, almost 2 years ago. And it has unraveled. Like, the more I future write, the more that kind of victim mentality unravels. And sorry about Tonka yelling in the background. I don't know what his problem is. Tonka, the naughtiest cat in the world. And so for me, I journal and I do feel better. Can you hear him singing the song of his people? He doesn't like closed doors, but that's too bad. When we're writing in our journal, or when I'm writing in my journal, I'm usually experiencing powerful emotions. And I'm usually really grinding on something. I'm usually upset. Not always, but usually I'm working something out. However, and I do feel better after. However, what if that is just a written record of your mind doing the thing that a mind does, which is regurgitate the same old story to keep the same old reality in place, to keep the system, the body-mind system, safe? What if that's why we feel better in the moment, but we just keep going through the same damn thing? We keep coming back to the same emotional state because, like I said, the theme, I mean, the details change. Where you live changes, the people you're mad at change, the situation that you feel victimized by changes, but the theme is the same. So in our efforts to feel better, are we actually just locking ourselves into that state? That kind of freaked me out. I was like, oh no, what if that's why it never changes? Because we're putting so much emotional energy into it. And some people say, and I think Joseph Spence is one of them, that exalted emotions create more powerfully. But I don't know that I agree with that. It, yeah. Lenore says that's horrifying. That's what I thought. I just thought of that late last night. I was like, oh my God, what are we doing when we journal in emotional states like that? So I don't believe that exalted states create faster, because I don't believe that any emotion is better than another emotion. Emotions are energy, and rage is a powerful energy, and sadness is a powerful energy. Happiness is a powerful energy. Get what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you do, since you're smart like that. It's all powerful energy, whatever name we want to put on it. So if we can take powerful energy and create future experiences, then we are taking powerful energy and keeping our current system locked in place, I think. And what brought this to mind is I had decided to do my playbook as my only journal for 30 days. And then I realized that every day I'm writing down my negativity in the journal, and I feel better because the mind feels better when it thinks it's done something. But if the mind's job is only to play with potentials and probabilities and possibilities and play out scenarios and do that stuff, but not actually make decisions, which is what I've learned in human design, your decisions shouldn't be coming from up here, because up here is not smart in that decision making way. If you have an open head center, you're also getting caught up in other people's ideas, and you may be opening businesses and taking actions on stuff that someone else is interested in. And you don't know, because you don't spend time in daily alone silence to figure out what's yours and what is the world's. So open centers are open head, open third eyes, a little harder time. Mine are defined, but I can get caught up in other people's stuff emotionally. And I put it in the notes. You can schedule a human design reading if you want to get more information about how that works, but I can tell you it is a huge relief. It really gives your mind a place to rest, because your mind spends so much time trying to figure it out. And it gives your mind this giant permission slip to stop it, to just have fun playing with ideas and scenarios and theories, but not to bear the weight to not bear the weight of responsibility for making decisions. That happens in the body. And depending on your chart, it happens through different strategies and authorities. Yeah, so when I decided to only use my playbook, I realized how many that daily. I'm super excited too, Michelle. Michelle Shoemaker's in the Human Design Basics for Business class, which, if you're in any kind of business at all and you're frustrated or bitter that things aren't working, I think I might have the answer for you. And $159 for a course with me is like way cheap, but you'll still be getting full services, full service station. So then I just flipped back through my journal over the last, because I just finished one from last year. So I flipped through that, and there were definitely those periods of, you know, trauma writing, but there were a lot more speculating and ideas, and they were much more positive. In fact, I told my daughter well, she has to burn all my journals when I die. She knows where they are. She has to burn them all. But I told her not to burn anything from 2015 forward because my journals did start to change. But they are still like dumping grounds. That concerns me greatly now. It really does. Because the temporary relief that we get from journaling is a relief for the mind. For my journals anyway, thinking about this over the last, I don't know, 16, 17 hours, those themes did not start changing till I started doing some things different, but they really started changing when I started future writing. So maybe you don't have to quit what you're doing and you just have to add future writing to it. But for me, it's like, wait a minute, if any of that is locking this in place, I don't want anything to do with that. Plus, if it's only my mind getting relief, but my body is still having to experience all that stuff, I don't know that it's helpful. I don't know that it's useful at all. I installed Newsfeed Eradicator on my desktop Facebook. I don't know if you can do it on the phone, but I don't see the newsfeed anymore. And that alone has changed my life. There's so much power in what we read and what we say, what we speak and what we write. So here's my workaround, because some things happened and I got some insights about stuff like this and some other things. And I was like, well, I don't want to not write down when I make those connections. Like, oh, I think this might be a piece of the puzzle I'm trying to put together. I don't want to not have a place to put that. But I didn't really want to put it in my playbook either, except that I could write it as if it's accomplished already and has contributed to what I'm future writing about. So, for example, this concern about the journaling. Oh, I forgot to list Kylego. Go on YouTube. You're on YouTube already. So when we're done here, Google, no, don't Google, put in the YouTube search bar, Kyle Cease, Cease, Kylego, Kylego. Look at that short little video about his technique. So throwing a little Kylego in it, it's kind of like, remember that time when. So today I played with, and a little bit yesterday, I remember when I got the insight that my way of journaling was locking me into a system that I didn't like. I remember when I figured that out and quit doing it, and this happened and that happened and this happened, and now I'm here and blah, blah, blah. So for me, I think that's a workaround where I can stop journaling in the way I have been, which I suspect is dragging me down. I'm still making changes, but man, is it slow. So that's going to be my workaround. So I'm going to write, remember when I stopped letting myself stay on Facebook for hours and I started feeling better, and I noticed I was picking up things I used to do and had stopped doing, like knitting and crochet and, cleaning and laundry. Good morning, Tina. Remember when, what was another one? Remember when I signed up for Acorns? If you want to sign up for Acorns, please let me know. I do have an affiliate link. But Acorns is an app that takes your roundup change and invests it. And you can fund it at $5, $10, $20 and up a month, which means that in my head, I can now attach the label in my identity to being an investor. To me, I've seen that app before, but I ran across it the other day and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to check it out. I had looked at it, but not really looked at it because I was like, investments, you have to have money to be an investor. And this app is saying, not really. You can use your spare change and you can start building an investment portfolio. And I was like, huh, that fits my energetic priority, my core desired feeling of ease with money. How easy with money is it if an app is just taking your change, rounding it up to the $5 mark, and then you get a notice and you push yes, you want to invest it, or no, you don't. And I fund it at $20 a month. That's pretty easy. And that adds another piece to the identity I'm building of someone who has ease with money, ease with wealth, that leverages wealth for social justice causes that I love, and supports rescue cats and dogs and bears and possums and raccoons. But you know what I mean? Like those are the things that are shifting, little things. And you wouldn't normally, unless you're me or a coach or someone who does this kind of stuff, you wouldn't normally go, hey, that's a big progress. To notice that app that you've seen before, actually take the time to investigate it, actually sign up for it when you already feel broke as fuck, because you know that rounded up change, you're really not even going to register that it's gone. And it's not gone, it's going into investment. And investors, what do you think of when you hear the word investor? I'm an investor. I have an investment portfolio. What does that sound like to you? It don't sound like cracker. To me, it sounds like, oh, well, wealthy people have investments. So if I have an investment portfolio, I must be wealthy. I must have ease with money. And wealthy can mean all kinds of things. And saying that, if you say that I have an investment portfolio, that means I'm wealthy, and that creates tension in your body, then you know where your work is. You can go to that tension and start asking a bunch of questions. So I take that as a sign that my future writing is working, because I am always writing that, money's so easy now. Money's a friend to me now. I trust the systems of wealth to work for me. Things like that. What else? What questions do you have about future writing in general, or about stopping the kind of journaling you're doing now and switching it over to this combo? Oh, another aspect of using that Kailego remember when kind of technique is you are resolving and integrating what's happening in the moment, and it's fueling. I think it's adding extra gas to your emotional state when you're future writing. The image I drew in my journal probably 6 months ago, a little stick figure, because I'm always trying to figure out, here's what my intention was for 2019: to master money, to master and understand how it works, and to truly understand the mechanics of how I personally create. What is it that I do that creates, and how can I recognize it, take control of it, and replicate it? Because we're creating all the time. So if you have a shit life, you created that, which is bad news and good news. Bad news that you don't like your life. Good news, you're the one that did it, so you can do it differently. Okay? So I have been figuring out how I have created the mess I'm in and working my way out of. I can see how I did it. I can see how I thought, how I acted, what I allowed myself to think about, what I allowed myself to have conversations about, not what I allow myself to read, what I surround myself with in my home. Michelle says in the comments, I think I am doing journaling wrong because I don't see the results I want to manifest. Plus, you don't feel any better afterward. Well, that triple sucks. That's a triple bad dream because I usually do feel better, but it doesn't last. And the next day I'm writing about the same freaking thing. Well, until the last 18 months or 2 years or so. So you might play with this idea of you don't let yourself go into the agony and the angst and the existential crisis of today. If you're in an existential crisis, here's what you do with it. You assume that it's resolved. Remember when I was having that existential crisis and I just let everything go, and I let my mind do its thing and I didn't struggle with it. And I just found this peace and it was so great. And I really think that's what led to me being here. Michelle likes the beach in Florida, here in Florida with my own beachfront house. Yes, we are going to be talking about future writing in the Human Design Basics for Business class, which starts June 4th and is only $159. Well, Tina, you might have interest in journaling if you're doing it in a way that feels great. This feels great. You feel good. And when you go back and so like today I wanted to go ahead and use my playbook today, but I was still half asleep and can't say I was feeling super good. So I followed Sandy's instructions, which were to go back and read a few pages and get yourself in the mode of my life is freaking awesome. And then writing from that. And then that feels great. So we're going to be using it in the course you're going to do it with your business and you're going to do it using the words of your authority. So for me, I'm a projector, and where I have gone wrong, so to speak, is oh, and Tina, there's a Facebook group with McKenna Held and Catherine Just. I keep looking over in the corner. Sorry. I know you're there, not there, but I forget. If you go put in future writing, McKenna Held, MaKennaHeld, you can probably find that Facebook group. But in the Human Design, what we're going to do is future write. I said that already. Sorry. So I'm a projector, and my marketing has gone badly because my projector's marketing style should be the exact opposite of what we're taught. We're trained to have this go-getter energy, which cuts off the flow for a projector. It actually literally was like cutting my own throat. Let's not say literally because that's gross. Figuratively, I have been cutting my own throat. I'm sure there's a better way to do that that's less gory. Because I've been following what works for only one of the 5 types. So we're all marketing out of alignment if we're still struggling. Now, there's ways for projectors to use the current marketing form, but the energy is completely different. So for me, I have to go back to what I did when I first started this business and just show up and talk with you all the way we used to talk, just about nothing. It's a show about nothing. Now, we would talk about whatever I wanted to talk about, whatever was lighting me up. And that's how I grew this business to begin with. And then when I started trying to do traditional marketing or what's being sold out there, it got worse and worse and worse. And I got more and more depleted and then more and more bitter, which is a projector's sign that they are way off target. Once you hit bitter, you're this close to burnout and you really have to put the brakes on, which I did. But, lost a lot before I recognized that. So I am beyond grateful for Human Design. And it probably came out of my future writing because I never heard of it before. And I honestly can't remember how I found it. I don't remember where I saw a post. Michelle said the show about everything. It is the show about everything in the wolf den going on for the day, for the week now. So yes, that was a long answer to your question. Yes, we are going to be future writing in the human design basics for business. Not a very catchy title, but it tells you what it is. And that starts June 4th. I really want a lot of people in there because it's going to be really fun. And I think there's 5 people in there already. I think that might be all I wanted to tell you. I just wanted to warn you that the journaling that we've been doing might be counterproductive to what we're trying to achieve. Oh, I remember what I was going to tell you. So I drew the picture in my journal like 6 months ago, way back sometime last year, before the holidays even. So I drew a little stick figure, and the stick figure had like a funnel shape above its head with the funnel coming into the crown chakra. And up above that was all the swirliness that represented the soup. No, Tina, I'll talk about it again at the end. Tina's asking, can I talk more about the human design course? I'll say it again at the end because I really am so excited about it, and I really want a lot of people to experience it because it's really changed my life, and it's super fun for me to share it. So we'll come back to it right at the end. And I'm almost done. I was trying to understand how, if we are radio transmitters, if we are the flower radiating the signal, the bee, comes to us. I've talked about that on my podcast, the Sovereign Storytellers podcast, which you can find out there. I was just like, how do we do it? Flowers don't have any arms and legs, and as far as I know, no analytical brain, lucky for them. They just do what they do. They just be a flower. And they are provided for. And so I was like, how do we be a human? What is a natural human? Probably, but we haven't been natural humans since back in the hunter-gatherer days when we gathered and hunted enough food for the day, and we weren't scared of everything and trying to stockpile all the resources and, going down the road that ended us all working in factories and, don't know how to grow a green bean, much less kill a rabbit for dinner. So, and that's the image that came, the funnel. And I'm not the only one that's had that image. Always I think I've got the coolest idea ever, but then I go out on the interwebs and find out that it's old. Everybody knows about it already. So I think that when she was talking about this method of journaling, this playbook, I really saw that image again, that the mechanics of how we pull out of the soup what we want. Like there's all the soup and we just want a potato. How do we pull just the potato out of all the soup? We write about it. We write like we've already got that awesome potato. We write like we have all the potatoes we could ever want. Red potatoes, russet potatoes, Yukon potatoes, all the potatoes, French fries, mashed potatoes. I really love potatoes. But I think this is the mechanics, and that's what I've wanted so desperately. What are the mechanics of creation? What do we do with our physical body, with our mouth, with our hands? I figured out the thought part. But this gives me a whole, and then human design came along and gave me a whole nother roadmap. And now this feels like a click, like everything is coming together and the mechanics are right here for me. And you guys try it. Purple potatoes, Tina, yes. Sweet potatoes, oh my God. I'm hungry. What if this is the mechanics of it? Now, what do we do before handwriting? I don't know. I think we spoke. Our things into existence. I think when we were dragging things behind us, somebody was like, why don't we have a round thing that we could stick under this thing and make dragging this crap around easier? We spoke our frustration and somebody got an idea, and the next thing you know, we've got wheels. I don't know. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass now. Uh, I need to check YouTube's language. I hope I don't get like censored. And then how does that show up on the captions? Did you guys know that this will have captions in like 24 hours? Okay, anyway. So then I was seeing this morning like this rushing river, and how a river, I talked about this before, a river that without boundaries is a lake that doesn't produce a lot. It doesn't have any action or energy to it sometimes. But a river does. A river has lots of movement and lots of action depending. But you have to have banks for the water to run in. You have to have a channel in the earth for that water to go in to gather momentum to get to the ocean where everything is. And that's how it was working out in my mind. It's like, this might give us the banks and the channel to put our energy into that takes us to where everything is in the moment. We activate that in our body, back to the flower example, and we become magnetic. A projector on target is a magnet to money, whatever, all the stuff that any projector wants. Barack Obama is a projector. JFK was a projector. Elizabeth Taylor was a projector. They were highly successful people. Well, are. Barack Obama's not dead. The other two are. But you know what I mean? Like, what if this is one of many ways, but it's just like, this might be the structure, the mechanics that I'm looking for, that I've been looking for. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. And I'll stop here, and then I'm going to talk now about the Human Design Basics for Business class. So if you don't have any interest in that, you can go ahead and get out of here. And thanks for being here, and I love you so much. And then, so the Human Design Basics for Business class. I like catchier titles. I think that's why I'm having a harder time. But catchier titles don't transmit what the class actually is, so I'm trying to knock that off. We're going to meet for 4 weeks on Zoom, Tuesdays from 12 to 2. I'm building in 2 hours. We might not use 2 hours, but we'll have 2 hours. Eastern time, U.S. Eastern time, for 4 weeks. So we start June 4th and we go every Tuesday. And at the end, if we need it, I'll throw in a 5th like Q&A meeting class for us, probably on a different day. So our first class, so I'm going to need, there's a Facebook group just for this class. It won't stay up afterward, but you give me your name, the time you were born, the date, and the place you were born. The time is very important. And I'll run your chart and I'll give it to you. And then that first day we meet, we're going to go over it. So I'm going to tell you about the different types. Right now I have 2 projectors and 3 manifesting generators. There's 5 types: manifestors, generators, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. We're going to go over what your type is. Then we're going to go over your strategy. So each type has a strategy for how to move through the world, making those little decisions that lead to big decisions that lead to creating a life. So for projectors, we have to wait for the invitation for big stuff, careers, moving, relationships. We have to be invited. The more we try to be seen, the more invisible we become. Manifesting generators have a different strategy. They have to wait to respond to something outside in the environment. Manifestors don't have to wait for shit. They can do whatever they want. That's why traditional marketing works for them, because the just do it motto is built for them, not for us. The rest of us have to wait. And reflectors have to not make decisions for a full moon cycle. They're like moon babies. So we're going to go over that and how to make decisions, which part of your body carries your confirmation. For me, it's I have to talk it out loud to anybody. I could talk to the cats, doesn't matter. I have to talk it out loud and not get any input because it's just the sound of my voice. And this is really working amazingly for me now that I'm using it intentionally. The sound of my voice gives me my own answers. For emotional manifesting generators, they have to wait for their up and down emotions because they run hot and cold. And they can be enthusiastic and completely not interested within hours. They look a little bipolar. They're not bipolar, but they can look like that. They have to wait to see if what they're trying to decide to do is still a yes all the way through that up and down. For others, it's the sacral center, which is a yes no response. So we're going to go over all of that. And then you're going to go apply it to your life. And then we're going to meet 3 more weeks after that. And I'm going to coach you. So you go try it and it doesn't work. We're going to explore that. You try it and it works. We're going to explore that even more. See how you can do it more. So all those classes are live, no recordings. And then we're going to talk in between the group too. I mean, in between weeks, there's that group where you can say, hey, I ran I did a Facebook live stream and nobody came. And we'll explore, okay, what was your energy? What were your thoughts? Did you check it out with your strategy first? Did you verify that with your authority? And we'll explore it and we'll fine tune it. My goal is by the end of 4 weeks, you should be moving into alignment with how you do your work in the world. And you should be, at a minimum, feeling a whole lot better because your mind gets let off the hook. Your mind doesn't have to figure it out. You finally get it that your mind can't figure it out, so you can stop trying so hard to figure it out. You can let it go. You get that big thing that says, oh, you literally can't figure it out. So, but your body has the answers. The times for the meetings are from 12 to 2 on Tuesdays, 12 to 2 Eastern. I can't remember which part of Canada you're in. I think that might be 9 o'clock your time, 9 to 11. All the sessions will be recorded. And then the Facebook group will be alive and kicking for that whole time. And that's $159. So a human design reading with me, a one-to-one reading, is $149. So for $10 more, you get not quite as personal a reading, but you get a reading and you get to spend a month figuring it out and fine-tuning how you apply it. So pretty simple. I didn't do a sales page because I don't like them. And part of my job is to have fun. That's in my job description. The first instruction is to have fun and do what feels amazing. And writing sales pages does not feel amazing, so I'm not doing it. F that. I will eventually do more, I'm sure, because people need to read about stuff. Anyway, if you're interested in that, you can send me a message on Facebook. This cat, I swear. You can email me at info@thatmichellewolf.com, and I'll send you the payment link, and we can get going. You can join us. It'd be awesome to have you. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Thanks for coming. Anyone want a cat? I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think the class, Tina said, it sounds fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. It is going to be fantastic. It can't not be fantastic. It's going to be awesome. All right. I'll talk to you next week here. The podcast is scheduled to come out Friday. I already recorded it. I think it's great because I love my podcast. And I'll talk to you later. Send me any questions. You can also leave follow-up comments here on the YouTube channel. And I was worried that I wouldn't see them, but they actually do send me an email when somebody leaves a comment. So if you have questions, let me know. Talk to you next week. Bye.